Welcome to Capital Catch-Up, your deep dive into the latest action from the halls of Congress. I am Victor.
And I am Leni. Today, we are walking you through several major legislative proposals, ranging from education and agricultural protections to environmental policy and national security. Let us start with a bipartisan effort in the Senate aimed at supporting family farms and small businesses.
Yes, that is Senate Bill 469, also known as the Family Farm and Small Business Exemption Act. It was introduced in the Senate on February 6, 2025, and has been referred to the Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions.
This bill is designed to address a critical issue for agricultural families and small business owners when their children apply for college. Specifically, it seeks to amend the Higher Education Act of 1965. Currently, when families apply for federal student aid, the value of their family farm or small business can be counted as an asset.
Right, and that asset valuation can artificially inflate the family's expected financial contribution toward college costs, making it look like they have more liquid cash to pay for school than they actually do. Senate Bill 469 would exclude family farms and small businesses with 100 or fewer employees from being defined as assets in these calculations.
It is a change that could significantly lower the financial burden on these families, making higher education much more accessible. Speaking of the Higher Education Act of 1965, the House is also looking at this landmark legislation through House Bill 9971.
That is correct. House Bill 9971 focuses on reauthorizing Title VI of the Higher Education Act of 1965. The goal here is to improve and encourage innovation in international education.
Now, let us shift our focus to some significant environmental and energy-related bills. One of the most notable is House Bill 9975, the Carbon Dioxide Removal Leadership Act of 2026.
This is a major climate mitigation proposal. It mandates that the Secretary of Energy implement a large-scale program to remove carbon dioxide directly from ambient air or seawater.
The scale they are talking about is quite ambitious. The program is set to start by removing 50,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide annually in 2026, and then scale up to 10 million metric tons by the year 2036.
To keep the program economically viable, the bill establishes strict economic feasibility price caps for these carbon removals. It also requires rigorous, independent, third-party verification to ensure the carbon is actually being removed, and it explicitly prohibits the double counting of emissions credits.
I think it is also important to highlight how this bill addresses the economic transition for communities. It prioritizes carbon removal projects that foster domestic job creation and support economic diversification in regions that have historically been dependent on fossil fuels. It also requires measurable community and environmental benefits.
And looking even further down the road, the bill directs the Secretary of Energy to conduct a comprehensive study on how to scale these carbon removal efforts to reach a gigaton-level removal by the year 2050.
While we are on the topic of energy and worker protections, we also have House Bill 9947, which is the Offshore Oil and Gas Worker Whistleblower Protection Act.
This bill proposes to strengthen legal safeguards for workers in the offshore oil and gas industry who report safety violations, environmental hazards, or regulatory non-compliance.
It is a critical safety measure. Under House Bill 9947, employers are strictly prohibited from retaliating against employees who exercise their rights to report unsafe conditions or participate in investigations. It even protects workers who use their stop-work authority when they reasonably believe their duties could lead to injury or environmental damage.
To enforce this, the bill establishes a formal administrative process through the Department of Labor to file and investigate retaliation complaints. If an employer is found to have retaliated, the remedies can include reinstatement, double back pay, and compensatory damages. It also mandates that employers provide regular training and notice to employees about these protections.
Another environmental protection measure is House Bill 9953, which targets fishing practices in Alaska. It aims to reduce trawl gear impacts on bycatch and seafloor habitat in the Bering Sea, the Aleutian Islands, and the Gulf of Alaska.
This bill is quite comprehensive. It establishes gear performance standards, seafloor contact detection, and salmon excluder requirements. It also seeks to improve council transparency and participation, prioritize ecosystem analyses, and modernize electronic monitoring.
Additionally, House Bill 9953 would prohibit unsustainable foreign seafood imports and establish a bycatch mitigation and habitat protection assistance fund to help support these conservation efforts.
And representing a broader health and climate initiative, we have House Bill 9962, which would establish a Green New Deal for health. This bill is designed to prepare and empower the healthcare sector to protect the health and well-being of workers, communities, and the planet in the face of the climate crisis.
Let us transition to healthcare, nutrition, and safety in our schools and communities. First, there is House Bill 9951, which amends the Richard B. Russell National School Lunch Act.
This bill would require schools participating in the National School Lunch or breakfast programs to publish information on any menu item or food offered or served in those meals. This could give parents much more transparency about what their children are eating at school.
Along the same lines of nutrition, House Bill 9950 aims to provide healthy food options in military commissaries, ensuring our service members and their families have better access to nutritious food.
For school safety, House Bill 9956 requires the Secretary of Education to issue guidance regarding seizure safety in elementary schools and secondary schools.
And in healthcare administration, House Bill 9972 amends Title 18 of the Social Security Act to adjust payments for skin substitute products under the Medicare program.
Now, let us look at some bills dealing with national security, technology, and government ethics. House Bill 9965 addresses emerging technology by directing the National Nuclear Security Administration through the Secretary of Energy to establish the Advanced Artificial Intelligence Nuclear Evaluation Program.
On the ethics front, House Bill 9961 would prohibit the use of campaign contributions or legal defense funds to pay settlements or penalties related to claims of sexual assault, sexual abuse, and sexual harassment.
We also have House Bill 9964, which amends the War Powers Resolution. This bill would provide for a limitation on federal funding in cases where there is a contravention of the requirements of the War Powers Resolution.
In terms of international relations, House Bill 9963 authorizes the Secretary of State to coordinate and engage with allies and partners of the United States to detect, attribute, and disrupt certain activities of North Korea.
And finally, House Bill 9966 amends the Homeland Security Act of 2002 to clarify certain requirements relating to the Nonprofit Security Grant Program of the Department of Homeland Security.
That brings us to the end of our bill roundup. As we look ahead, listeners should watch out for how Senate Bill 469 progresses through the Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions, as well as the initial reactions and committee assignments for the carbon removal and offshore whistleblower protection bills in the House.
Thank you for tuning in to Capital Catch-Up. We will see you next time.